Good afternoon. So we're restarting a high-grade silver mine and essentially reviving a forgotten mining camp. So this is a world-class asset. Blackjack Silver controls the Butte, Montana mining camp, which is truly one of the great mining camps in the history of mining. This was known as the richest hill on earth for 100 years, and then everybody forgot about it. This is what made Anaconda Copper the BHP of its day in the early 1900s. The amount of metal that came out of here is truly astounding. The value of metal exceeds 1/3 of the gold production of the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. The amount of silver that came out of here exceeds half of the silver that was produced in the Silver Valley of Idaho, except that the Abitibi Greenstone Belt is 600 kilometers long. The Silver Valley is 37 kilometers long, and we're talking about a footprint of three kilometers by 3 kilometers. So it's a very compact, intensely mineralized system, and exactly one mine produced all this. This is a mesothermal vein system on the periphery of a porphyry. We do not control the porphyry. The porphyry is being actively mined next door. It has been for the last 30 years consecutively by a company mining an open pit copper, moly, porphyry. We're next door. We have a halo of concentric circles of veins that emanate out from the porphyry, starting with copper veins, moving to zinc, silver-rich veins, and finally gold, silver-rich veins. 300 million ounces silver equivalent historical resources, okay, generated by a major Anaconda Copper and by a group that mined in 1990, 1991. These are all intact. They were published in reports after underground mining ceased. And they're the high confidence categories, the highest confidence categories. For Anaconda, this was developed on 3 sides and with a lookout of 50 feet. So conservative, high-grade veins. 150 years of mining, what's left? So there's a lot left. 300 million ounces is left. Plus, along strike, at depth, we're only looking at above the water table Anaconda mining mine down to 5,200 feet. Plus, they never mined the outer silver gold veins. Okay, they were too narrow for them. They averaged 5 to 10 feet, and they didn't mine stuff anything under 8 feet. So, and these were never mined commercially. Okay, and there's some high-grade silver gold veins on the periphery with only, I think there's about 10 holes in that. This is Montana, okay, so it doesn't get any safer than that. We're just outside of Butte. We're next to a 50,000 ton per day operating mine and all the infrastructure you'd expect being right there. Water, power, roads. You can drive right up to the drill rig with a car. Just a great place. They have a mining school inside in Butte, Montana. We hired 6 students last summer. So great place to operate. Have a great team, have a good technical team, 6 people in Butte, all Americans, 3 mining engineers, 3 geologists, all worked on Western American projects. Our COO ran the Sunshine Silver Mine, which is the biggest silver mine in the US. So we know what our goal is, we know what the animal looks like, and we believe we have it here. We're private, planning on going public. Of course, this is market conditions dependent. In the meantime, we will continue to add value to the project, so we're not sitting on our hands. We're working on a resource estimate right now, which is being informed by a 250-hole drill hole database, okay? So that's due in about 5 weeks. If we get a critical mass of material there, we'll go directly to a PEA. So what do we need and what are we talking about with respect to critical mass? You know, this sort of deposit, you can safely mine at 1,000 tons per day. Sunshine Mine was mined at 800 tons a day. So you need 3 to 4 million tons maybe of material. And if we get that, will go to a PEA, and that'll feed into the mine permitting process. We hired a mine consultant. The permitting process here will take about 2 to 4 years, depending on whether we can use local infrastructure. And of course, we have a large mine next door with a large tailings storage facility. So this is something that we can potentially use, and of course I've spoken to them about this. So this is a table of our historical resources. It's indicative of something, our resource estimate will not be 300 million ounces. Why? Because this represents all depths, okay? And we're only looking at above the water table, which is down to 800 feet, and I think this goes down to 2,500 feet. But what this does represent, and what is representative of our resource estimate, is our resource estimate will roughly be balanced between silver and zinc. It'll be about half silver, half zinc from a value perspective. So we're really a true kind of silver project. So there's where Montana is, and there's where Butte is, just off the Continental Divide. Having said that, we're only just a mile high, roughly, just like Denver is, and it's gently rolling hills. This is a good slide, picture's worth 1,000 words. Those are our claim blocks. Just to the right of us, to the east, is the operating mine. This is a large operation, 50,000 tons per day. You see up here, there's your tailings storage facility. To the extent we can use that, permitting would be a lot easier. The veining, the way it works is the copper veins, so the porphyry daylight's here, and the veins are kind of a halo of concentric circles that emanate out from the porphyry. The copper comes up just under here. Most of it is here. This is predominantly zinc silver, and this is where the silver gold veins start, okay? This operation to the east of us accounts for 25% of the economy of the county. The mayor keeps asking me how many people we will be employing in our operation. They would like to see another operation here. We have a very supportive county. The governor, the state governor, is very supportive of mining. He attended a mining conference 2 weeks ago in Montana and said as much. Geology, going from big to small, boulder, batholith, 75-mile long by 25-mile multi-phase intrusive, of which the Butte quartz monzonite is one of them. That's what hosts our peripheral veins, which are in the red. These were formed in late Cretaceous times and essentially terminated the mineralization event of the porphyry by bleeding out the mineralized fluids into these fractures and created this intensely mineralized system. I spoke about the historical production and just how extensive it was. You can do your own math and come up with the same conclusions I came up with. The shot on the right is just the pit to the east of us. So 150 years of mining by a major generated a lot of data. Anaconda surveyed on 8-foot levels all the way down from the surface down to 5,200 feet. So we digitized 10,000 maps. We had a team of 6 working for a year and a half. So that what does that mean? It means georeferencing old mine workings, historical drill holes, historical resources in green, mapped geology, etc., all that into a 3D model. We put it into a Vulcan mine planning software. This is a screenshot of that. And this feeds into our resource estimation process. We've handed this model over to our independent engineers. That's a shot of the rolling terrain, so it's not really very difficult. We're not on the side of a mountain in the Andes. This is a target-rich environment. So, these are all targets that follow up on high-grade intercepts and extensions of veins and areas that are poorly developed, et cetera. So a phase 2 drill program is something we're planning over and above a critical mass of a resource estimate that we'll hopefully get. An example of the drill assay results, look at the far right. I mean, this is high-grade zinc. Moving one over, where you have high-grade zinc, you have high-grade silver. One over, you get also gold kickers. So very high-value material. These are obviously the highest, or some of the highest values historically. These are also in unmined areas. So this material remains, and we'll be following up on these areas with further drilling. So catalysts, we raised $11 million to date, 25 cents last year, 50 cents this year. We'll come out with a resource estimate in about 5 weeks, at which point, we'll be raising at a higher price, building value in the project, and essentially as a private company running our own market. It's a good time to be private. We're not subject to somebody selling 10,000 shares on a Friday afternoon and pushing the stock down 10%. As I mentioned, if we get a resource estimate of a certain critical mass, we'll go straight to PEA, mine permitting, et cetera. And if a market window opens for an IPO, of course, we'll jump through that. We've all done a lot of things in the mining business. Our COO ran the Sunshine Mine, which is the largest silver producer in the U.S. I just hired a VP exploration, a younger guy who's very driven and has done a lot of work in Nevada. So he's on board. We got a good technical team. 62 million shares outstanding at the last financing of 50 cents is a nominal 30 million market cap for us right now. And we're back to a summary. I'll add that, don't take my word for it. We have CAs signed with major mining producers that you would all recognize who see value in this extraordinary mining camp and the potential to find a lot more resources over and above the historical remaining resources. So thank you very much.